like private industry, and that's what the structure is. And again, the reality is government has a totally different structure. If you look at the personnel rules, if you look at the civil service rules, they don't allow you to do what you just said. The issue is that even if you're talking about the issue of how you spend money, if it's federal money, you can't even designate federal money to a specific area or region because it comes from everyone. So the issue is there's a lot of rules when you go through the administrative code, the civil service, and all that other stuff. In fact, and I've only been in the city for 43 years, we just found out something the other day that was mind-boggling, and I had never heard this before. But as they're getting ready to talk about furloughing people or laying people off, there's a bumping system in civil service that says I get status in class and also in department. Mm-hmm. So you have a certain ritual that's called bumping. So if I look at you and say, you're gone, you look at your classification, you say, well, not necessarily, because I have status in this department, and if that evaporates, I have status in class, then I'm going to bump you in another department. Well, that has to work its way through in order to finally say you've laid off 6,000 people. When it's all said and done, the 6,000 you laid off aren't the ones that get laid off because it flows down the line. Well, we have a rule in the city, or at least an interpretation of a rule in the city that said you can't transfer people permanently from one department to another unless it's voluntarily. And we looked at that and said, well, why is that? Why would you interpret it? City attorneys interpreted the way the charter is written that the issue of employer or appointing authority has been interpreted to mean the department in which they work in. So if you look at somebody and you say, I'm cutting 16 positions in the fire department, I'm going to forcibly move you to building and safety. If they choose not to go, you could move them there for 120 days. You couldn't move them there permanently. And that was mind-boggling to everyone in the room because no one in the room ever considered that the employer or appointing authority wasn't the city. It was the issue of the department in which you came into and appointed you and you were in is your appointed authority. Wow. So those are the kinds of personnel rules that you have to deal with. And there's books and books of these things that you find out as you move forward and think something is very practical, and you find out there's 7 rules that say you can't do that.